drinking. Take one.
Yep.
And that's our intro.
Right.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Right off the Truman Show.
Hey, buddy. So, all right. So, here we are with another pub wisdom, guys.
Arr. Cheers, my friends.
Cheers.
My wisdom for the evening is never have surgery.
If it's avoidable, never have surgery. So we've got Dan, the journalist, who's a little bit, not so much under the weather, but you were recently under the knife and you're recovering, so if you're sedated right now, you know, you can go,
Wanna be sedated.
just go take a nap, Dan, you'll be fine. And we have another regular here. This is the HVAC guy, the Viking, a guy that breathes hot and cold air, Johnny Pat.
Cheers, cheers.
So we're here today. We're just going to riff and just talk about things we talk about at the pub and kind of hit any subject we want to and go with it.
And well, we have Dan here, and you said under the knife, so, and then he said, I want to give some wisdom, never to have surgery. I 100% agree with that. Try to avoid surgeries as much as you can, because I feel like any part of work you do to your body is going to shorten your life. It's going to shorten the longevity of your life.
Yes and no.
Exactly, right? Because things will.
If you're
Make you
100%
live longer.
sedentary, you'll just dissolve away.
Yeah.
And then you'll have a short life after that too. But no, it takes grit and determination. What was it? I'm already losing my quote. It takes a lot of pressure and grinding to make a gym, right? I mean,
Yeah.
And the human being needs good trials. We need good physical trials to be strong. And
Yeah.
too much can
exercise.
put you back in the hospital and you get surgery and you cut you back up.
Yeah,
Dan went through surgery for a couple different reasons. You were in a car accident and a couple other things going on with you, but you're on the mend now, and thank you for being here too. I mean, didn't expect you to come out this early, and it's appreciated always.
Yeah.
Always good to have you guys
Like I said
around.
before, it took me 10 minutes to put on socks.
Not bad.
Starting all over, right?
So it's 5 minutes per article of clothing. So if you're gonna wear at least a robe and some socks, give Dan at least 15-20 minutes before you
Before you meet up. No, guys, I tell you what, your neighbor's yard looks completely different. Since all the Halloween stuff is
I
down
didn't
there.
recognize that house. I was like, what
I
was
didn't
that?
either. I was like, Remarkable Right House?
Yeah, the Nightmare in Cone Street is gone. That was my new neighbor across the street. Halloween was the best trick or treat I've ever seen. And they threw we've actually got a video of their the haunted house on our site. So, and I'd like to get those guys in here for a talk, but the owner's being a little shy
A
about
little
that.
bit shy?
I think if we get a beer or two, and then we can talk them into it.
Yeah, I'd like to hear the history of the haunted house.
Yeah, and I always forget the name of the show that goes on downtown Detroit prior to that.
Bazaar.
Theater Bazaar. Thank you very
Bazaar,
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. I don't like to remember things. Theater Bazaar. I don't know why that one always slips my mind, but yeah, they actually help set stuff like that up, and then they put on just an amazing free show here across the street, and it drew a crowd. And like it looked like Hollywood just said action, and all these kids just jumped out of trucks and just swarmed the streets. I'm just like, I'm usually throwing handfuls of candy in the kids' basket and in their bags, but I'm like, just take one or two. We're gonna run out, man. And we almost did, which was fine. I'm fine with that. I don't like having that junk food around, but that's good.
Yeah, it's just good for the kids. You know?
Yeah.
It's good for the kids to run around and enjoy the holidays when everything is so suppressed.
Speaking of holidays, I had Michael Myers down here. He's not thrilled with Christmas encroaching in October.
Yeah, that's what I can't stand is like, you go into a place like a Meijer or Target, and it's the week of Halloween, and some clown already is stocking shelves with Christmas ornaments and stockings. It's like, we're not even through Halloween yet and Thanksgiving yet. They're putting up Christmas stuff in October.
And what happened to Thanksgiving? What happened to the turkey, man? It's like that's just gone now. In the market, it's just like washed over. And when I was a kid growing up, it was you went through Thanksgiving dinner, and then the thing was everyone got their Christmas list out. That's when you made your Christmas list after Thanksgiving dinner, and you gave it to your parents and your aunts and uncles or whoever was going to look at it, or take it to Santa.
Yep.
And then away you go, and then Christmas started after that. But Christmas is like encroaching all through November and October now, and getting kind of tired of it, honestly. And I think what I want to do, and I'll probably start up next year. Mark my words.
Where's your Christmas spirit?
No. What I'm gonna do, we're gonna make Halloween last a little longer.
One, Mr.
I got no problem with Christmas. Stay in fucking December. But no, I mean, what I want to do is I want to throw a party the weekend after Halloween and have it called the Halloween Hangover Party. And everyone can bring their Halloween costumes, bring the last year junk food.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And bring some Oktoberfest beers, and we'll gorge down on it and have a good time.
Yeah. I've been to some parties like that in Birmingham, like masquerade parties, where it's not really Halloween. There's a dress code, you have to dress nice, but every single person has to wear a mask. Like a masquerade mask typically is what it was, man. It was a lot of fun, so.
Sure.
So that would be
You say masquerade party, it sounds like, pinky up.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Of course, you said Birmingham too, which,
Pinky up.
My kids go to Country Day in Chromebook.
funny story. Now that you say that, it's so funny, because at this masquerade party, I went outside, and I'm hanging out outside, and halfway through the party, and there was like a VIP section, and we couldn't go in. And so these people got in this big ass fight, and there's blood everywhere, all over the ground. Cops came, everything. Well, I'm outside. I take my phone out and I start Snapchatting it, because it's freaking funny. And this guy says right into my Snapchat, he goes, "You can't record this, I'm a doctor." Well, thanks for telling everybody that you're a doctor.
Yeah.
Nobody would have known who you were, my friend, trust me. But now that you had to come out in your Birmingham attitude and display that you're a doctor.
That would make me want to record even longer, just because of the display of that guy saying that.
So you're not a social media lawyer.
Yeah.
Keep rolling.
So then the cop goes, "Yeah, man, have some respect for other people," to me. And I just looked at the cop and I said, "I'm not the one who got my ass beat, and there's blood all over the ground. Why are you telling me to have respect? Shouldn't you be focused on other people having respect for people here?"
So you're in a rich, ritzy area and a fight breaks. Why is it always fights
And
breaking
it was like
out
old.
here?
And it was like old people too. it wasn't a young crowd. I
So
don't
blood
know.
was spewing because they're on blood thinners.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know why fights always break out around me. I don't know.
Maybe that's one of the reasons I call you the Viking.
Yeah,
You just invite it.
I welcome it.
I'll leave you hanging.
We did it here. Click it.
Sorry, my peripheral's not good at the
I'm all alone over here. All alone.
Yeah.
So, I believe it was Socrates that says something like, strong minds talk about events. I'm going to ruin it. Why do I always do this? I ruin it every time.
Maybe if you had two good eyes.
I gave one for wisdom.
I guess you're never going to be allowed on stage. You can't make
No, I'm terrible on stage, but...
Hey, listen, guys, I got a funny joke here. Just give me a minute.
Talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right
I
back.
gotta memorize it because I can't remember how to say it.
I gotta look this shit up.
Oh, gosh.
You butchered that one there.
Yeah. I'll take my lumps for it. That's okay. Strong minds. I like to talk about big concepts and stuff like that, and I think that's one of the things. Like average people talk about people, and that's very petty and low. And then,
Agreed.
Smarter people tend to talk about events, which is a little bit better. But then, really smart people like to talk about big concept things, and that's honestly what a lot of conversations I get into. And one of the reasons I wanted to start this up is like I love those conversations. I want to invite more people into that. I like big concept, highbrow things. I don't like thinking about little things. That's kind of petty in a sense, but let's talk about big things, big concepts. What's on our minds? What's bugging us? And how can we effectively try to change it too.
Well-
Just come up with solutions, you know, not just.
Hopefully
Not just
Elon Musk
complaints.
is doing a majority of that. Hopefully.
Yeah, that guy 100% is always onto that type of thing.
Yeah.
His structure, the way he operates, and I've studied Tesla and Elon Musk for a good 10 plus years now, and I'm only recently starting to understand how he runs a company. And as people are crying at Twitter, "Ooh," I'm like, dude, he wants you to fucking work.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta show up to work. This guy sleeps on the plant floor. Name one other CEO of any automotive company anywhere. First of all, name another CEO of any automotive company anywhere. And then name one that actually has worked on the plant floor.
Yeah, exactly.
That list is one. Elon Musk. That's it.
That was some of the funniest videos that I've seen when he was firing people. He just walked into like a group of 30. He goes, "What are you guys doing? What do you do at my company?" And the guys go, and one guy said nothing. And he goes, "We don't do anything." And he goes, "Well, you're fired. Get out of here. You no longer work for Twitter."
There was
And
one
That was actually a video.
Yeah.
I've not seen that.
He walked up a group of people and saying, "Okay, you guys got to show me something like now, or you're gone."
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
there's just all this dead waste. I mean, and most of these people don't even work in an office; they all been working at home. So God knows what they're actually doing.
He had one.
Your productivity is not the same when you're at home as when you're at work. It really isn't. Because you're forced to focus at work. When you're at home, it's like, what's going on over there? Oh, you know, maybe to do a home improvement. Oh, what's the dog doing? What's the baby doing?
Yeah.
You are not focused when you're at home.
He asked one person. He goes, "What does VHS mean?" And the kid says, "Vaccinated high school student." He said, "No, you're fired. You gotta go."
Are these for real?
I swear to
This is
God,
hilarious.
it's truly disturbing.
Hit
Like
the road, Jack. Don't you come around though.
how that stuff works, man. How a lot of these companies just make so much money. And
That's out in California too, right?
I'm not
I don't
entirely
know where
sure.
headquarters is.
San Francisco, right?
I'm not sure.
I've heard things about the California mentality of work life, and we're here in Michigan where blue collar is pretty much it. It's
Yeah.
white collar and blue collar, but it's you work. I mean, the demand is you work.
Yep.
You're not working 40 hours. You're not working. I mean,
And like the rest of the country knows that too. When I moved to Vegas, when I got my first job there, and the manager found out that I was from Michigan, the first thing he says to me is, "Oh, you work hard, huh? You're from Michigan. Everybody from Michigan works hard as hell." And it's like, yeah,
it's just expected.
It's just how you're born and raised, really.
Yeah.
yeah, you know.
So now I'm going to take a quick informational. Quite right. Michigan brewed, Kalamazoo, Michigan. By Bell's.
Yeah, local beer, man.
Discovered this beer about a month ago, and
We didn't just discover it.
It just debuted in my top 10.
It was introduced to us by a very special bartender.
Yeah, I got that in my mug right now too. Is
Yeah.
all of Bell's from Kalamazoo?
Yes.
Oh, no kidding! I didn't know
There's a
that.
brewery downtown, and they.
Mindy, our bartender, one of our local establishments, those are actually in her hand right there. Those are the beers.
They're quite
Right,
bright.
right. When she gave it to Dan and I, I'm like, she's like, you gotta try this. I'm like, it's what top 5 tip favorite beers right now for sure. And, yeah, it's yeah. Hey, looking for sponsors, Bells.
We love Oberon too. Don't want to leave Oberon out.
There's not many Bell's beers out there that I don't like. I mean,
They're mostly.
they do a very, very good job at most of their beers. Very tasty. And we love beer and pub wisdom.
Yeah, that,
We
It
love
brings us
beer.
together.
We know beer outside of fun wisdom too.
That's why one of the title songs is Bring Us Pints of Beer.
kind of like the old Tom T. Hall song. I love beer. It makes me a jolly good fellow. I love beer. You can go online and find that 1970s classic.
1970s classic.
Tom T. Hall. Yeah.
I'm sure you got that on record.
I actually used to play as a little kid. Yes. And Snake was dancing. The Waylon and Essen.
That's before my time.
Yes.
Yeah.
You weren't around in the 70s, were you?
No.
And they never replay anything ever. No, it's yeah, actually, yeah. If you think about it, you know, send something to me so I can try to find that song. Maybe I could work that into getting hit with copyright things and all kinds of stuff on YouTube from trying to put some of this stuff up on. It's like I don't want to use their stock audio because it sucks. and everyone is using it. So every YouTube video out there that's using stock footage or stock audio, it's terrible. And
What do you mean by stock audio?
Stuff that's approved by them, the stuff that's on their site that you could use and put music in your
Oh, I didn't even know that's how it worked.
Yeah, and the selection's terrible. So another opportunity is maybe I get some of our musician friends to kick something together for us too.
Yeah.
We can work on that, but yeah.
Hey, listen, I need another pint of beer.
We need to pause for a moment.
I ain't drinking. Take one.
You know, on pub wisdom, I've learned I'm getting older, but what I've also learned is if you don't want to feel old anymore, just hang out with guys older than you. You'll always feel young.
Bring us pints of beer. Don't drink, you can live. Bring us pints of beer. We gonna drink now and here. Bring us pints of beer. Don't drink, you can live.
Johnny Pat just opened his beer with his teeth.
Didn't have it on film.
Golf clap. Good job.
But you know what though? It's a manly way to do it.
Oh, alrighty. Cheers, my friends.
Yo. I'm the man with the mug. It was actually, this mug was actually, it's not the original, it's a replica of the mug I got my 21st birthday. So my middle brother was about 4 years older than me, and all of his friends took me out to a place in Toledo, and my thing was going in there on my birthday, and was like, hey, and the bouncer someone's like, hey, it's like my birthday, and he's like, you've been in here many times. Like, but today I'm getting the mug.
No, you got the wrong guy. Definitely got the wrong guy.
That was the other guy from Monroe.
That was the other guy that looked like me, no. But no, I think the bar still exists, but it's, but my brother and his crew to me were like the typical 80s party crowd where someone threw a party, there was 100 fucking people at that house, and it was just like, you know, things were just bouncing. But yeah, oh my God, but those guys, which I refer to as professional partiers and drinkers, were impressed with the amount of alcohol I took on that night, which says a lot in and of itself. So yeah, I was trained by some of the best.
Trained by some of the best.
And I've got the mug to prove it.
Puts it on his resume too, you know, it's an automatic hire.
Yeah, got me my current job.
Oh, shit. That'd be funny.
More so than the drink itself is sometimes
You know, that really
the
happened.
women that serve it to us, you know.
My first job I ever got. These guys were paving this road, and it was for a company. I won't say the company name or anything, but it was an asphalt company. And they were paving this road, and the guy just comes up to me and goes, "Hey, you want a job?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, I'll be here at 6 in the morning to pick you up. You better be ready." Okay. I get up in the morning, 5 o'clock, get a shower, get all together. I'm outside at my house at 6 a.m. Sure enough, he shows up, him and his son. And I get in the van. I get in the work van, and the owner turns around, and he said, first thing he says to me, he goes, "You ever fuck a fat bitch?" I was like 16 at the time. I only had one girlfriend, and I was currently dating. I was like, "No." He goes, "Don't lie. Everybody's fucking fat bitch. Just don't nobody want to say it." That was the very first thing he says to me. And then we get, we get a mile down the road, and he goes, "You got any weed on you?" I go, "No." He goes, "Listen, man, you don't gotta worry about that, okay?" This is a really crazy story. Oh my gosh.
There's more.
So sure enough, I go back, get some fucking weed. We smoke a doobie. First day of the job, 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay, go to the first job. He goes, "Listen, I just want you to see these guys. You know, at this time it's maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock, and they're paving a little public storage place." So I'm just watching on. Anyways, we go to the gas station. He goes, "Hey, can you get any more weed?" I go, "Well, let me make a phone call." I call up a friend of mine. Sure enough, yeah, she's got some. So we go over there, get some more, go back. Then he goes, can you get anything else? I'm like what? He goes, like some ecstasy pills? This is my first fucking day on this job.
One day on the job.
I called my friend back. And she's like, yeah, you gotta meet this guy down in Pontiac, and he'll hook you up. So I ended up getting more drugs even than just, ecstasy. So anyways, we get there, we meet up at the spot. Call the guy up. Now it's like 6 o'clock at night, the days progressed. And freaking, and so.
It's a long day.
Yeah, just literally just getting drugs for these guys. They're just super wealthy Italian dudes, Yeah.
You I, cause I'm I than I.
You talk about being scared. I'm like 16 years old, so I call the dude that I'm getting the drugs from, and I'm like, yeah, I'm at the Burger King. The boss grabs my phone, he goes, listen, man, we ain't got all day. Where you at? I need to get these drugs. I'm like, oh my God, like, you don't sound like a cop right now. Jesus Christ. Guy goes, listen, I don't feel comfortable. We're gonna meet in my hood. You gotta come down here now. I go, whatever. Anyways, we go. I hop in the car, the exchange happens, I get back in the freaking van. This guy takes his bag, he got a big old bag of cocaine, takes his bag, rips it open, and just shoves it in his nose, and just, and then he goes, okay, that ain't too bad. Okay. And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? I was shitting my pants. I'm like, I gotta get home, I'm going to jail. I'm gonna be 16 years old, I'm going to jail.
Welcome to a proud member of the mafia at this point, huh?
Yeah. So then they get the ecstasy pills, they offered me one. I'm like, no, I'm good. I just need to go home right now, please. Drops me off at home. Gives me $200, says, tell your parents you worked hard today. $200. I worked the whole summer for them. It was the first job I ever had.
Beats my first job.
Yeah. Other than like working on a farm with my family.
Sounds like you passed the interview, huh?
Yeah.
Your ability to
For one,
accumulate drugs
illegal substances is your first day.
before you punch in at 8 a.m.
Let me tell you how wealthy this guy is. Yeah, I go to his house for an entire week. Spent the night at his house for a week because all the jobs were out. I can't remember where this guy lives or not. But my mom drops me off. We're pulling in, huge gated house. We get through the gate, we pull in, it's got a big old wraparound driveway. There's this freaking 20-foot tall statue of Marilyn Monroe in her classic pose where the wind's blowing up her dress.
Yeah.
That's in the center of like this roundabout, right? A 4-story house, 2 stories going up, 2 stories going down. He had like a double basement. It was the craziest thing I ever seen. Never seen
Where
nothing
they keep the
like
bodies or what?
No, it was all just, it was all crazy.
Well,
Me and the other guys, we put on big old boxing gloves. We just started boxing in the basement, breaking shit. Nobody cared about anything. It was just like, endless money for these guys. They just didn't care.
There wasn't like different shades of concrete on the lower level. Like,
No. I mean, probably. I didn't notice it at the time.
could fit a body. I don't know.
Yeah, that was
Tripped
wild.
over something, that's just a bone sticking out.
That's how Michigan. That's how Michiganders get into the work field. Okay. And that's just why
If you
Michigan
survive
works.
that, it's definitely a hard
Why
one.
is there a piece of jewelry sticking out of that little thing in the corner? It's,
I don't know nothing
I don't know
about
what that
it.
is. Nothing
you
to
talking
see here.
about?
Move along.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Don't know how they got there, but insanely wealthy.
Did you meet cousin Rocco?
No. Thankfully. A lot of fun though. It was a fun first day of work.
How do we transition out of that?
It's tough to beat.
I got stories for days though. I don't know why.
My first job was Wendy's.
I can't see you as the restaurant type.
No.
I want a cheeseburger, no ketchup. Fuck off.
Yeah, I didn't last very long there.
Did you have enough flair? Kind of like Office Space?
I would throw flair at people. I remember going back to that Wendy's like a year later, like taking pickles off my hamburger. And I said, "No fucking pickles!" and slapping them against the window.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy though, because why? There is a saying that goes, if poor work ethics is not punished, and good work ethics is not rewarded, then there is no motivation. And that is 100% true. You go to these dang, not that I even like to eat drive-through food anymore, but you go there and it's a hassle. How is it a hassle? How are you upset? You know what I mean? You don't got to deal with gas lines or power lines, or you're not in the oil fields, freaking. You know what I mean? You're in a comfort job. You're comfortable. You know what I mean? You got heat and you got AC in summertime. You got heat in the wintertime. All you got to do is put some things together and go about your day. How is that such a problem? How are you pissed off?
So you made the transition nicely into a bigger concept, like, in terms of work ethic and rewarding.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Rewarding good work ethic and not. And this is where I wanted to go. Thank you. And you kind of saved it because I was like, man, I don't know where the fuck we're going. But you saved it because, rewarding good work ethic and not rewarding poor work ethic, and that's kind of a concept. That's a big overlying issue that people keep talking about.
Yeah, give the kids a trophy for participating.
Right, and we know that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work because the kids that didn't do well, they get the trophy. They kind of know they didn't earn it, and then the kids that did earn the big trophy, they're like, what am I working so hard for? These kids are getting trophies too. So it disincentivizes the whole system.
Yeah.
And if you don't teach that at a young age, then they're not going to want to strive and try to get to greater heights.
Yeah.
And it takes out, that's something our country thrives on. And we see it in sports all the time, but if you don't have that drive, that work ethic to get to the next level, you're never going to push yourself, push your teammates, push everything around you. You're never going to.
The human brain is crazy, man. The human brain is wild. You will stop or come to a halt or a plateau, or if there is no motivation to push you to climb that next hill, you just plateau. And it's. I don't like that way of things.
But it's also the downside is there's a system that not everyone can achieve and not everyone can win in, and there's always gonna be winners and always gonna be losers in that.
And on the flip side of that, I can't remember what the syndrome is called, but I learned it in college, and it started with a professor from Michigan State University, and she became a doctor, and she got these rewards, and she was like, I'm not a doctor, I barely passed my classes, even though she was good and she was great, but
chiropractor?
She felt I can't remember. I can't remember. But she felt, even though she did everything that she needed to do, and she pushed herself, and she finished what her goals and her aspirations, she still didn't feel like she deserved it. You know what I mean? She's like, how am I recognized as this right now? I don't deserve this. And so, even that, that goes to reward and everything. It's still hard to accept rewards when you are good at things.
True. Yeah, when you're driven and you're self-critical.
Yeah.
It's very tough.
It's still hard to accept rewards.
Yeah. And
so accepting a reward for not being good, that's got to be really troublesome with the brain, especially with a developing brain, a young person. That's got to be really conflicting.
So, something I struggle with too, because I'm very self-critical. No one needs to be harder on me than me. Play ice hockey, and I want to advance every time I'm out there. I'm in my 40s, and I still want to be the best person I can be out there. And I'm constantly looking for ways to improve, even though
you're competitive.
I'm beyond my peak, and my body is actually trailing off.
What are you saying? You're over the hill?
No!
Fucking
climbing that hill, bitch.
You will not accept that as your fate?
I won't accept it. That is not my fate, damn it. Thanks, Dan. No, but I'm always self-critical, and even if I screw up on the ice and I get to the bench and I'm mad, I don't need anyone telling me I fucked up, because quite honestly, I know. But it happens. But I do enjoy constructive criticism. Tell me what I can do better, man. Sure, I'm going to work on that. And the other thing is accepting those types of credentials and those praises that you get from people. I recently ran into, was actually a former bartender at Johnny Black's, and she was talking to me. She had a baby recently, and she just like was gushing over me. It's like, I Facebook stalk you because you're the best dad ever. I'm like, stop. First of all, stop. I mean, I think this woman's adorable. Her husband's a nice guy. It's like, and she's got a baby, but she's like been watching me and all the things I do with my girls and the stuff I put up on
Yeah, but
Facebook.
she's watching that
Right.
because she wants to see that in other
Right.
people,
Yes.
right? So,
But I had a hard time accepting that because I know social media's got a filter. Like I take pictures of my kids, I put up the good ones. I don't, I'm not putting up the pictures on back of the head. But no, I mean, and even when I did the videos and stuff with the girls, I had them on here. It was quite cute. But I do the videos. There's a whole lot of editing goes on there. It's like,
Sure.
it's like they start getting off track. They start going at each other, and they're like two little cats, man. Like, and it's like cut. All right, will you two just like each other and act nice? And then it's like rolling.
yeah, behind the scenes, this is what people.
There's a lot of editing in there. So as a result, I don't feel like that great dad. I don't feel like because I constantly have to correct my daughters. And
But that's what being a good dad is. It's constant correction, right? As a parent, you're there to guide your children, right? You're there.
and you're supposed to frustrate them. I mean,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they need that. And,
Yeah, they need boundaries, and they like to push. Kids like to push the young.
Well,
ones.
this-
oh yeah, oh yeah.
You know, I thought about this before I came over today. This is actually something I did want to talk about because it is I think it's a good thing that you are a guide to your children and you are their parent, right? So my thing is now it seems majority of parents will go through a time period, maybe a teenage years, young teenage years, where their kids hate their parents.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be like, I fucking hate you, Dad, or I hate you, Mom.
My 11-year-old is approaching that.
Right?
That's 7th, 8th, 9th grade.
And it's like-
that's when they.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have a kid yet, but when I do, I know I'm gonna wanna be the best father that I could be. But I don't wanna have to go through that time period where you hate me, right? But I still need to correct you.
But at least
I
knowing it,
need to correct you when you're doing something wrong, or when you're not, or when you're,
the knowledge of it and knowing it
right.
is what can help you get through that too, though. And that's knowledge through wisdom, and knowledge and wisdom is the things
Wisdom
you learn
through
over
beer.
time, right? Right, there we
You
go.
know, I feel like Cliffy and Normie and Cheers, like, hey,
So Ava is approaching that, huh? Or Lorelai? Ava.
So Ava's my 11-year-old, but yeah. So I even saw there's a Facebook memory that came up 2 years ago when she was 9, and it's like, and I was proud of this moment. I'm proud of it, so I wrote something on Facebook. I have officially annoyed my 9-year-old. Dad, you're annoying. Yes.
mission accomplished. Congratulations.
Get used to it, kid, because I'm going to do it for the rest of your life.
Yeah, parenthood is definitely a maze or sorts. You know, so I thought of this because I was eating dinner with somebody and they said, well, my kids are very selective of what they want to eat and I always have to bend over backwards. And my response was, when I was a kid, you either ate or you didn't. There was no option.
Hey, my mom made a casserole, that's what you ate.
That's what you ate.
And if
Yeah.
you weren't hungry, then that would
You want the better.
If you were hungry but you didn't like the casserole, guess what? You're gonna eat or you're not gonna eat. That's the thing. Nobody bent over backwards for us.
You don't
right?
need, I mean, you really technically don't need 3 meals a day. I mean, yeah, if your
No,
kids-
but I've seen it, like, with family members and friends, like, you're at their house, and say they have like 3 kids, and 2 of them sit down, they eat whatever's being served, the third one, I don't want that. I want a hot dog, I want mac and cheese, and then the parents, after everyone's done eating, they're still pouting, then they go make them something else.
Yeah.
When I was a
They're
little
catering
kid-
to that, yeah.
Yeah, when I was a little kid, my dad's like, hey, that's what's on your plate, you eat it.
Yeah.
Take 3 more bites, you're not getting up till you have 3 more
You don't
bites.
like
You'll sit here all night, till, you know, and that.
I've been that stubborn kid at the table after everyone's left, and you got one parent sitting there to eat.
Yeah. You don't like onions? Pick them out yourself. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Nobody.
And I
catered
usually
to
ate,
that.
but my sister was bad with it. Like she would just, you know, she would pout. And
Do you guys think there's a relationship to that with the work ethic that we were talking about earlier, poor work ethic in today's
Yes.
society.
Yes.
Society's
Do you think
changed.
that parenting, the
Bad parenting strategy and a parent catering to every child's wish
Yeah.
creates
Caving in.
these adults.
yeah,
And we're going to get into another one a subject I like, but it creates these adults that have these expectations that someone's always going to provide that
yeah,
for me.
exactly. Expectations.
Well, that goes back to the
That's
workplace,
perfect
though.
word.
You let a kid pout till they get their way, and then they get in high school and college, and then one day they're gonna be in the workforce, and they're gonna sit there and try the same crap in front of an employer. Employer's like, you know what?
You get smacked down.
See ya, bye.
Yeah.
Clean out your desk.
But
You know,
the flip side is you have an adult that doesn't know how to function in that world, and part of it is that world is a bit dysfunctional. It shouldn't be as harsh as it is. However, these children, these growing into adults, should be trained a little bit better to deal with adversity, and it's that adversity that actually sharpens and polishes a child and turns them into that gem that's a man, a hard gem that
Yeah.
can't be broken. But
Yeah.
you know, with a lot of polishing, a lot of hard work, it'll shine. You know, and it's a really good analogy. It did come from a Stoic philosophy that I really like, and it's very cool. But what we're kind of rolling into was what I think is, I've been referring to this as an epidemic of adult age adolescence, and these are adult aged males that have not turned into men. And I really put a distinction between what a man is and what someone who's just an adult, or in terms of their age. It's just, you're of adult age, but you're no man. In my opinion, if you're just laying around all day, you're playing video games in your parents' basement, and you're in your 30s, you're not a fucking adult. You're not a man. You should be out there, forging out there, and creating a life for yourself, and then eventually providing for someone else. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what a man does. Our role has not changed at all, but we're disadvantaging that. We're not training that anymore, and we're seeing the results now. And
Yeah, yep, 100%. And that is something, you know what I mean? I don't know. I like that we're talking about work. It's just, you gotta put in work everywhere you go. Even when you get out of work, you come home, you're still putting in work on something else.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
whether it be a project, a home project, or working with your kids, helping them with schoolwork.
it may not always be physical. It could be mental too.
Yeah.
Things you're learning. What I refer to, after I turned 40, I started realizing that when I start speaking, now people are listening to me far more intently than they ever did. And I don't know if it's just because maybe I got a little bit of this white stuff in here, and
Well,
it's showing me
no.
some age, and maybe I look like
I
somebody.
can tell you what it is.
Hey, that's why
And I learned
it
this.
turns gray.
I learned this a long time ago, and when I was younger, I always wanted to play an instrument. I never really fully capitalized on that, but somebody told me, he goes, you know what, the best instrument that you could ever learn how to play is your voice. How you communicate, how you can change your tones and octaves and talk to people the way that, you know, they need to be talked to. You know, they're your audience, so you have to talk to them in a certain aspect. So change the way you talk towards certain things. Learn how to play your voice. And
This is very true.
and that was a big thing to me, you know what I mean? I know I'm a silly guy and I like to have fun, but when I'm serious about something and I talk about something, people will listen to me. They'll understand that our communication is right here, you know, and it's a good thing. So it's I see maybe 15 people, 15 strangers a day, and they let me into their homes. And I talk to them the same as I talk to anybody else. Oh, you know, I see something cool in their basement, and I start talking about, oh, you got some swords here? Oh, and I'll just start talking about swords and metals and things of that nature, and I appease to my audience, you know?
So
Trying to get them to be comfortable with you.
Correct.
Especially if you're going to someone's house, they don't.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I could rummage through their dang jewelry boxes or something, you know what I mean? And I don't want them to feel like I'm here to help you, not to hurt you, you know? And so I play my voice in that manner, to let them know that I am of no threat, you know, or
So that is
that rolled into something else there.
no, that's perfect. That is
Oh, is that a picture of you just on there? On the right? Is that a picture of you on the right?
which one's the one we're right. My right or your right?
Our right.
Yeah, I did this with my daughters too, and my oldest picked the old man.
Oh.
My little one picked the gladiator, and I said, Lorelai's obviously your favorite child, the favorite child of the dad, right? Ava was like, "Yup." So pitting my children against each other a lot, and I tease them a lot, and I'm kind of vicious with them, but I will tell you that when these girls are turned 18 and they get unleashed on the world, look out, because if you're a softie, they're gonna destroy you.
Good.
They have a sharp wit, a nasty sense of humor, and it starts now, and they got a good 10 years before they're in this world, and I am doing my best to keep them as good kids. And going back to that one real quick, the communication feedback I've been getting, people are like, "Oh, your girls are actually really good." I'm like, "I'm talking about my kids." But I'm realizing that they actually kind of are, because I'm on them all the time. And they actually don't act up in the ways that I kind of thought they would, and they actually are pretty good kids overall. There's some rough edges I need to polish yet, but they're getting there. And
So when you walk around the corner, the gestures that they make, you don't see that, do you?
that they make? Probably not. It's probably a good thing I don't, because I would smack them. I mean, I don't abuse my children, but not
Yeah, we don't spank children over here.
I use a hockey stick for that.
Thank you,
I'm not
sir.
gonna smack you, but
Thank you, sir. I have another. Thank you, sir. I have another.
it's all good. But I mean, when you got into the subject of vocal communication and tonality, that is actually another subject I love to talk about is communication. And what I'm finding out is texting is terrible, because the English language, first of all, sucks. Second of all, people are twisting the English language to the point where it's like you're not even making real words, and you're
Well,
there's so much lost in text.
Keep in mind that everything is constantly evolving too.
But you
language is going to evolve.
But you try to read someone's text or post on social media, and it's 6 sentences with no punctuation, and they're rambling. It's like, what in God's green earth are you talking about? And then they
de-evolving.
And they have all these abbreviated words like you are.
Yeah.
Every time I see that, I want to hit somebody. I hate
You know what
that.
though? That came from when texting was a keypad, a number keypad. And you had three letters per number.
Exactly, so you shortened it up as fast as you could.
Smartphones don't need to do that anymore. It's been at least 15 years, or almost 15 years that smartphones have been around. We don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Just stop, you know.
I hate it. It drives me crazy.
Autocorrect helps you, and you can tune that thing to make it work for you. But regardless, the English language, you can say, each one of us can say the same phrase and mean it completely different ways.
Yep.
So if you put that out in text, it's completely up to the interpreter. And if the interpreter is offended by what you said, it may not be the way you meant it.
Yep.
And so it becomes a poor form of communication. What we really require is in-person communication, and there's many things, there's many levels our brain picks up on that we don't really digest. One is vocal tonality. Here in Michigan, we speak sarcasm. We're really good at it.
I remember the all sarcasm team, yes.
I mean, there's a couple other northern states that do it. When I moved down south, I lived in North Carolina. The way I spoke sometimes, people are like, "Oh, you're mean." I'm like, "No, I'm not."
Everybody thinks I'm mean. I'm not. I swear.
I'm really not mean, I swear. It's a joke. You don't get a joke?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. But,
Yeah.
So they didn't
Softies.
catch, I mean, same language, right?
But there's
Different
ways-
accents, different regions, and they didn't
But
get
there's
it.
ways you say different words, and you guys, most people can laugh. It's like, with a group of guys, when you say the word dude, it's like, dude. Dude. You know, there's different ways you say the word, but it means something different, and usually the people in the room understand what you're saying.
Yeah, because that is, like you said, like tone
It's-
or our facial and body language.
Body
well.
language is another
Mannerisms,
thing.
yeah.
Facial
Yeah.
expressions is another thing.
Yeah.
Tonality and voice. Knowing the person and knowing their tones and how they're saying something. And dude's one, that's more the PG word. You can
There's a comic from Finland.
fuck is the word that actually gets used all the way around in the English language.
But
at
you
least around
hear
here.
different tones of that. In a lot of
It
times.
could mean different things. It could be a
But
happy
you want-
thing. It could be, or it could be like oh crap kind of thing, or it could be ouch kind of thing. I mean, or a,
Yeah, it could be fuck you, or oh man, fuck you, man.
Or
Yeah.
you stub your toe. You know.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, yeah. I mean, so communicate. Effective communication is so much more than texting, and that's one of the things I wish that people would. You show up to the pub, you're with people. Pub, public house. It's where you do your talking. It's where you talk about things. Put those phones down, put them away, and talk.
Enjoy the company around you.
And you get so much more communication in talking to someone than you do by texting.
Cause see, this one hit me pretty emotionally. Was when I realized I probably only got about 40 more summers left on this earth. That hit me pretty hard with it. So it's like, dude, enjoy this time that you have here with people, all people. Man, enjoy it.
Yeah,
Because
right.
guess what, dude? It goes way faster than what you think. It's gonna fucking zoom by like a race car.
Tell me about it.
And it's hard to have this conversation with the older gentleman here.
Listen, you young fuck.
For someone that definitely crossed the big 5-0 marker this year and was in a bad car accident, I've had to reevaluate some things.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I
You
get
see
what
what
you're
I'm
saying.
saying? It could be over in a fucking
I mean,
minute.
honestly, if I was going faster when I was in my accident in September, I wouldn't be here right now.
You know what I'm saying? It is
Not my fault.
insane.
We also, I mean, that puts life in perspective.
How many
Yes.
suicides in this last 3 months have we all been a part of, or like I don't want to say
People
part of,
we
but
know in common, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
people
I've
we
had
have
a
comment
Accidents,
or
suicides,
accidents,
cancer.
and yeah.
People all younger than us.
And that's what I'm saying, man. Like when you get upset over Texas or something like that. I had this one girl I was talking to. She said, she said in her text it was, anyways, they met back of the house. I was like, what the fuck does BTK mean or whatever? BTH. She's like, back of the house. I was like, you stupid. I'm like, what? Like, how the fuck am I supposed to know that?
Well, he's in the military. We don't need acronyms for
You
that.
know what I mean? I don't need to. And now you're gonna think some way about me because I didn't understand your communication.
Yeah.
And I asked about it so that I could understand, and you're still upset. It's like it's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Yeah, people get into the assumptions that they make about you, and then all of a sudden they made an assumption about you. They're probably wrong, and yet they're running with it. And they're like, there's nothing you can do to defend yourself at that point.
Yeah.
And it's through a text, and it's like you have no idea what's going on the other side of that text.
Yeah.
Why am I not hearing back from them? I don't know. Are they freaking out? Are they happy? I mean, I don't know.
I think that's what the world leaders want, though. They want you to text, and they want to disrupt communication as much as possible. Like, I know you won't get involved in
I'm
that.
smelling conspiracy theory coming out. We need an alarm. Ding, ding, ding. There's a conspiracy theory coming. Go. All right. What do they want?
Yeah, and who exactly are they?
It's their pronouns, duh.
You're right.
Okay, they, them.
Yes,
Oh shit.
That's how the government wants you to talk.
Don't start me on
They
that
want
crap.
you to talk in they, them, not any, no,
You know what?
anything else.
Like I said earlier, fuck that. Interpret it your own way, people.
And listen, I got you a beer.
Ah, thank you.
Oh, you can't open it.
He wants to do something in front of the camera, just let him do it.
My wonderful friend, are you sure?
He doesn't have,
Just this once.
he doesn't have the cooties.
There you go, my friend.
I just coughed after having stomach surgery, and that didn't feel
Oh,
very
yeah.
well. Yeah.
Probably gave us all COVID.
Yeah, what's a little COVID amongst friends?
Here, I sprinkled a little COVID in my beer.
He cold that. He cold that bottle up just by putting it in his mouth.
Yeah.
Just so my immune system has something to fight.
Yeah. I'm like George Carlin, man, and you gotta treat your immune system really. You gotta go and you gotta swim in filth, to get your immune system strong. So anytime something like COVID comes around, it's like, kick its
Was it you
ass.
that posted the Carlin thing the other day about people are so stupid, then you realize that 50% of the people are even more stupider?
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Yep.
I've seen that too.
George Carlin was the Socrates
Yeah.
of our time because he said such amazing things and he did it in a funny way, but it made you think, and you have to think about what he's saying, and he's right.
There was the comics of the day, Sam Kinison and George Carlin and stuff. I mean, they were rambunctious, wild, but their points were so secure.
Which makes
You know
them
what I
good,
mean?
right?
Yeah.
Dude,
Makes him good and makes him
lately
last.
that skit of Sam Kinnison's been popping up on social media the last couple months about the sand.
About in the deserts.
About solving world hunger.
Yes, you get them out of the desert.
This is
and
Sam.
where the
What's gonna be
food
1,000
is.
years from now? It's gonna be
We got deserts in America, and guess what? Nobody lives there. You know why? Because there's no fucking food there. Where the food is?
Don't send them food, send them U-Hauls, get them out of there.
Yeah, that was a funny one. I do remember that.
True then as is today.
Yeah. Oh, sucks.
What a loss. Because Sam Kinison died, early 1990s, right?
Yeah.
He was in a terrible car accident out in the desert, ironically.
I thought for sure he would have had a stroke. I thought for sure that was his way of going out.
Yeah, I know. Heart attack.
Yeah.
Like on stage and in front of everybody.
Think about,
People are like cheering, like, oh,
In his
it's
like
funny.
brown trench coat.
He's really dead.
if you think about someone like him that didn't die,
That's what.
or like John Belushi died in 1980, 42 years ago. Say if Belushi was still here. Just the stand-up routines, the movies, the commercials,
the amount of
these
content.
people put out in various
Yeah.
mediums, you can't even fathom.
Yeah.
Yes, there's that. They would have given us so much more. However, there's also the loss of that early immortality, right? Where these actors and comedians and even musicians that hit this amazing amount of greatness, and then they blink out and they're gone. And now people are like, oh, they can, no one can ever be better than that, or we never get to see them trail off and then kind of either go into obscurity or somehow maybe embarrass themselves to the point where they're no longer great. So there are those types that disappear at their peak. Maybe they could have done more, done better, but sometimes they just disgrace themselves over time.
Yeah.
So I mean, think about like Eddie Van Halen. Had he passed away at like 1986, he'd been considered one of the greatest guitar players ever. But Van Halen went on, they played on, and they were still great. He was always a great guitar player. And many, many years later, before he finally passed away, unfortunately, and I still think he's one of the greatest guitar players out there. However, he never had that like moment of immortalization. And now he just kind of drifted off into obscurity, and the music industry moved away from hard rock, and he just disappeared. Even though they were still putting out good stuff, the industry moved away from him. So he'll never have that same type of immortalization like Jimi Hendrix did, you know.
Conspiracy theory. I got one.
Ding, ding, ding.
Woo, woo,
Conspiracy theory.
Like a giant cowbell there.
Oh, because hard rock breeds strong men. They don't want that. They want to produce rap that's going to be like, I'm going to fuck your bitch and kill you and everything else. That's the music they want to promote. They don't want to promote
Or is it
hard
just
rock.
easier to find these people because it's
Because
Because it's a dime a dozen now.
because rap is it's a form of rhyming, right? And
Yeah.
there's a talent to that, no doubt.
Yes, no
However,
doubt.
There used to be.
it's easier to find that, and they don't need a band. You don't need to coordinate music with a band. You
A
get
drum
from
machine.
a computer, a drum machine.
Well, you got to have exactly, but you got to have people to
sample some
operate those
music.
machines.
You can do it all with one of these.
Yeah, you got
Exactly.
a little voiceover
So you're
box.
paying one guy versus a band.
Yeah.
And bands break up, members change, fans don't like that. I mean,
Ooh.
there's a lot more complexity with
Yeah, but you know, it doesn't matter what kind of
For
music.
sure it's.
name a band that's still intact.
But bands
Greta Van Fleet or something.
There you go.
Like, yeah, no, they just came out.
you know, I mean, bands can have a lot of history. Like, they
2017.
evolve. Like, you know, Christine McVie passed away this week, Fleetwood Mac.
Hmm.
She had been with them since the late 1971. You know, they've been evolving since the late 60s, and now it's over 50 years later.
You know, one thing that always breaks up bands is the money. You know what I mean?
Well, people-
That's what they're always
Certain people, they want.
Creative differences.
Yeah, that's what they always call it.
together. They're just doing a show.
Yeah, but you know
they're
what,
coming
though?
to Detroit.
They're
That's
a
no
third
number.
bassist.
So yeah,
Actually, their second guitar player, third bassist.
yeah.
So there's been changes. I mean,
Well-
most people don't know Dave Mustaine was the original guitar player. Most people don't know, Cliff Burton and then Jason Newsted. And
Which
then,
one died in the bus
Cliff
crash?
Burton died, and there was actually a bass player before Cliff Burton. So yeah, you hit my wheelhouse, buddy. I know Metallica well.
So
I was
yeah,
with that band
you
from
know.
the beginning. You
If
know?
it-
Well, again, it's a band name, but it evolves over many
Yeah.
decades. I mean, Metallica broke through originally in the early '80s, right, with their first album.
Mid '80s, yeah. Metallica was one of those anomalies where I remember as a kid in the '80s calling a radio station, say a rock and roll station, because that's all it was. Play Metallica, that asked for Metallica song. And you're like, yeah, okay, kid, click. And you waited, and they never fucking played that song. And it's like, but
And then finally in
Once they-
1989, when one came out, finally radio was like, oh,
MTV broke them out, and all of a sudden Metallica, oh, everyone, Metallica fans. I'm like, fuck you. I've been there for years, man.
We're here for
I was
you.
cranking Fade to Black before you guys hit puberty, but hey.
But then the Metallica's gone through some resurgences, and some people call them like the Led Zeppelin of our time, and I'm not crazy about that one.
No, I don't. see
They're
that
different.
at all.
Different. Yeah,
They
different type of
both
music.
have their different identities.
But yeah, it's I love Metallica. They've been one of my absolute favorite bands throughout the years.
Yeah, for sure. They're legends. Just as much as Kiss or others.
But you mentioned bands, you can go through the last 50, 60 years, and certain bands, they have their own identity.
Yeah.
Metallica does, Van Halen did, Zeppelin did, Pink Floyd did, Rush did. These things, they were their own entity.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really compare them to anyone else because they're their own entity.
Because they're different, yeah.
They are very different, and these bands evolved over time, their styles evolved, but they're still, people knew it was them.
Oh yeah.
Metallica could put out a new song right now, but it's them.
Let me ask you this, because this is, and you mentioned the
And
band.
that's good to
You
have.
mentioned the band for a second. So, mention a band, a style, an entity. They create an image and a style and a sound, and it's like, wow, you hear that sound, you know it's that band, even if it's a brand new song. A band recently from Michigan pulled that off, where, my goodness, they sound just like Led Zeppelin.
Well, it's Greg Van Fleet.
Greg
yes.
Van Fleet. So what is? I mean, you being a kind of a music aficionado, you actually have vinyl. I joked about it, but you have vinyl, and people that are really into music, they have vinyl. You've got a lot of it, and I'm sure you were a Zeppelin fan at one point. And
Well,
what was your impression when you heard Greg Van Fleet?
The
for the
very
time?
first time I saw them was in Frankenmuth at the World Festival of Beers, and this guy's up there singing, and it's like he's 16 years old. I'm like, this guy can wail.
Yeah.
He's got a hell of a voice. And then a couple years later, you're hearing him on the riff. Riff radio here in Metro Detroit. It's like,
Yep.
but yeah, the comparisons to Led Zeppelin, absolutely. Obviously they idolize Led Zeppelin.
Mm-hmm.
The guy has a great stage presence, the way he kind of moves. Like Mick Jagger of the Stones, he could move on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Different artists,
It's part of the show.
it's part of their show.
Mm.
Think about Michael Jackson in the heyday. It was more than just singing for him. He could.
Yeah,
It was about his dance moves.
He had,
The dance moves. He was iconic with it.
and he had unique dance moves just for him. You know what I mean?
People are still doing
Like
moonwalk
nobody did the
today.
Yeah,
lean or
Yeah.
But you see someone do a moonwalk on YouTube or something. What's the first thing you think of?
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It just
Yeah.
takes you back 30, 40 years ago
Yeah.
when he was in his heyday.
Yeah. Yeah, that
And
stage
it has
persona.
nothing to do with liking or not liking a particular artist, whatever genre of music it is. But you got to identify when you have somebody that has longevity, has their own brand, has some type of greatness. Because there are acts, singers, whatever, in every genre that you can qualify as someone that is considered great.
He said X.
The axe. Time for an axe.
Two Viking lovers over here.
You don't like what's
And there wasn't,
the axe.
I didn't say axe, like, let me ask you a question.
No,
Like in the hood, but.
hey, you know.
Another twisted English piece, but hey.
Hey.
All right, well, do we want to start wrapping it up here, guys? Because I think we've covered lots of different things.
Yeah, I need another beer.
Oh, well, all right.
Well, in that case,
I love to cheers, you guys.
I'm doing fine. Get yourself a beer, Whip.
I had one, but I gave it to you.
you know where the
Thank you.
I mean, it's still your beer.
That's right. It's always mine.
I had one of your beers, and I gave it back to you. See?
we could at least do a cheers on an empty glass.
No, you can't.
Like,
No, you can't.
I stand corrected, my,
That's
my
against Viking code, okay?
We don't cheers in empty glasses in
Yes,
public.
I'm wrong, I stand corrected. Constructive criticism taken and received.
Are we doing it? Here, we'll take a short break.
Oh, wait. Now you're throwing chairs. On next Pub Wisdom, Mike and I discuss Jesus versus Santa Claus. Your thoughts, Mike?
Bring us pints of beer. Don't drink, you can live. Bring us pints of beer. We gonna drink now and here. Bring us pints of beer. Don't drink, you can live. Bring us pints of beer. We gonna drink now and here. Bring us pints of beer. Bring us pints of beer.
That right angle, and it's just a little bit of pressure. Because
Are you
how they make
twisting or are you
pulling up
clamping
like
down?
that.
So you're just basically using your teeth as a leverage.
So if you look at the cap, the bottle cap, so it's just that little tiny bit.
These eyes.
So I pulled from this
Yeah.
side right here. So you're literally
Oh
only,
yeah, the witness mark, yeah.
you're only like breaking the seal a little bit. And once you break the seal just a little bit, it pops right off.
So you got a tooth mark here and a tooth mark up top there.
Yeah. Boom. I don't know. I don't remember somebody taught me that, and then I was always like, "You're crazy, man. That's so bad for your teeth." And I was like,
I guess if you're doing it properly.
and yeah, and then
Little pub wisdom here, how to open a bottle with your teeth.
Oh, we're recording?
Sure.
Absolutely. This is a bottle opening 101.
I didn't know. Yeah.
So yeah.
And yes, we do proudly are displaying our Bell's beers.
Yeah. Sponsorship opportunity bells, you know, anytime you want.
Yeah, bells.
Just give us some money, we'll drink.
We'll drink more of your beer.
Well, that's gonna happen regardless.
We can go to a different beer.
Yeah, don't tell them that now. We're gonna lose our leverage. We got Donald Trump these guys. Sorry, I should have said that.
And
We got Sam Adams in the fridge.
now-
we got all kinds of stuff
yes,
in the fridge.
Yeah.
and Sam Adams is very delicious. The winter.
Yeah, the winter ale was good this year. Yeah.
Oh.
Good stuff.
Yeah, bells. The winter beer is really good. Okay, we can edit that out. All right,
Are we
my
toasting
friends.
something or Danny's got just a little in there?
I'm running low. Running on empty. Sorry, that was my Jackson Brown impersonation, but I tried.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, Jason. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, you guys are going to be pub regulars, so you guys had both met at the same establishment.
Do we get membership cards like regular?
I may have to come up with some T-shirts. Well, what I do, like the T-shirt I'm wearing, I probably should get. This is like a prototype Pub Wisdom logo. I may come up with something a little more, you know, kind of like up on the chest kind of thing, and then funny shirts, and then I'll start giving them out to the regulars and people that come on.
Cause I once had a shirt I bought at like a garage sales with a girl I used to date, and it was a great T-shirt.
You had a T-shirt of a girl you used to date?
No, the T-shirt.
Picture of her.
There was two versions of it. There was a gray one with red writing that said "I'm a regular," and there's a black one that has it in white writing. And I think I had it on Facebook for a while. My profile picture: "I am your regular."
Yeah, regular, yeah.
Yeah, was it?
Maybe we should call my regulars your irregulars.
Well, we're not well, so I don't know.
I mean, that doesn't.
You know what? Though? That's
makes sense.
That's why I like my friends, because we're all different, and we're all different in different ways, and yet we can still get along. And that's the thing, and I don't like the fact that people are just, well, I'm different from you, I'm not gonna talk to you.
Well, I'm not gonna.
Why
delete,
not?
Not gonna delete you because.
Well, like I said before, man.
Because friend X and friend Y voted for different people for president, so I'm not gonna delete people over that.
We're here for a short time on this world. You have fun or you
Yeah.
don't.
You
How
can-
you want to
that's a
live it
choice.
is based on you. You
That's
know, nobody can twist your arm or make you do something.
It's a choice, it's a mindset, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I
So.
like to think I'm a pretty happy guy. You know, it's not often you see me not laughing. If I am, I'm probably in some really deep thought at some point. But
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you not laughing. Or ever seen you not in a good state.
because that might be insane.
Here's Johnny.
I just knocked my tooth.
It's not a bottle. There's no cap on it. You can't. You get popping top
I
on
can
that.
feel that through my head, man. Wow. This is a hell of a mug.
You gotta be careful when you're drinking beer with these
I've been
guys.
playing hockey for years. I've never knocked
Trying not to
out.
laugh, that's starting to hurt.
Oh, sorry.
That was funny.
We're gonna kill Dan. He's gonna split one up wide open.
It's like a Capri Sun straw. It blows up.
Why? Those like those fake snakes in the can, the peanut can kind of thing. Can't have Dan over the corner.
Oh, gross.
Kind of like the movie Spaceballs, when the alien comes out,
Yeah.
the alien comes out, hello, baby, hello, darling, hello.
Oh no, not again.
I love that movie.
Spaceballs is great.
Dude, it's so good.
And if you
My
like,
force is bigger
Wait,
than yours.
My
What is now?
Schwartz.
Now is now. When was when? It just happened. But now is now.
when do we get there?
When did it happen soon?
Yeah.
I saw that in a movie 1987 that came out. I laughed my ass off.
And that's how you know Elon Musk is about our age, because he references Spaceballs in the cars. I mean, when you got ludicrous mode in the car, that comes straight from Spaceballs. And then what's beyond ludicrous? Plaid.
Yeah.
And people are like, what's plaid mean? I'm like, you don't know? You don't know. Go watch Spaceballs. That's your homework tonight, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know, watch Spaceballs. Mel Brooks comedy, flat out amazing.
It's amazing.
One of the
If
funny,
you're woke, then watch Blazing Saddles, and your brain will explode, and you
Yes.
won't have you as a problem anymore.
dude, I'm sorry.
I mean, your brains won't explode. Still go see Blazing Saddles.
Watch it,
Don't
please.
tell them the
One of the
consequences.
one of the funniest scenes I ever laughed at
Think
in the movie theater was in Spaceballs, where they're out combing the desert and they go to the first guy. You guys find anything yet? No, we ain't finding. The second guy is, you find anything yet? No, we ain't finding. The third guy, they got this giant pick. You guys find anything? We ain't found shit. And I about keeled over on the roll. I just rolled down the aisle laughing. I was 14. I thought it was the funniest thing in the world, but.
Spaceballs is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh.
We saw Spaceballs and we saw Summer School with Mark Harmon. Those were like right after school got out, 1987.
With Chainsaw and Dave.
Yes. And we'll see you at the movies.
Did we kind of remind you of Chainsaw and Dave at times?
Just a little bit. He's got
I
the
don't
hair.
know who Chainsaw Dave is.
Okay, but that's
So you have homework now to watch
I
Summer
was
School.
born in '88, guys. You guys are talking about movies in '87. I don't know.
Yes.
There's
I should've
VHS
seen
and DVD. These movies have been around a long time. I didn't watch it at the theater myself, but
I don't even know what VHS stands for. When Elon Musk asked
Actually, I
that
don't
kid, when Elon Musk asked that kid that question, I would be like, shit.
What was it before? It was beta, right?
Beta.
Video something. It's got to be V's got to stand for video, right?
I've got the computer in front of me and I should be looking it up, but I'm
Something about something speed video.
I really don't
I don't
know.
remember anymore.
We're gonna have to Google it.
Yeah, just in case Elon Musk comes to us.
This is not wise.
I thought it was.
We're not wise in the ways of VHS.
I grew up with the video game craze. Like we got in television in 1982, and someone else on the block already had it. But then we were cool because we had television, which was at the time a little bit upgrade from Atari. You know, the status.
Oh yeah.
And then we got cable in 1984. I remember my brother and I raced home the middle school across the street. Of course, he beat me in the house because we knew we got cable that day.
No
So then we got a VHS recorder, we got a CD player in 1987. You know, there's a lot of stuff that came out back in the 80s that was state of the art at the time.
Yeah. Yep.
We actually had a Betamax player because Beta and VHS came out at the same time, and Beta was better, higher quality, whatever it was. And
What was it like that?
Smaller,
Fucking
a lot smaller.
Betas were smaller. You know the VHS cassettes, right?
Yeah.
The big honking cassettes. The Betas were smaller, but they were a higher quality.
But they never really caught on.
Never caught on because VHS was cheaper.
Well, what Beta was like the 8-track kind of videotapes?
So it's kind of like Beta was like Blu-ray and VHS was DVD in that sense. But
Were they both still?
They came out at the same
movie,
time.
Were they both in the same shape and form?
no.
No.
If you had a
Beta was
VHS
smaller.
player, you couldn't play a Betamax.
It was kind of like a CD is much smaller than a vinyl record album, you know? The same kind of.
Yeah. But when you get a Blu-ray and a DVD, they look the fucking same. You know what I mean? But they're not. Right. So
Hey, we got a guy.
That's what I'm asking.
Cabo the dog is here.
Cabo the dog.
Oh, Cabos.
Kind of like Felix the cat, we got Cabo the dog.
Cabo the dog. He's a good old man. He's named after the tequila in Santa Hagar.
Cabo Wabo.
Cabo Wabo, yeah. Come here, buddy. Come here. We're gonna get you up here as a guest.
He's fighting. Careful, he's fighting. Don't
Sorry.
Aw.
We've been drinking over here, Cabo.
I know, pal. Where have you been?
That's our mascot.
You tell me about it? Yeah? Okay. All right, buddy. Sorry about your noggin. All right.
He's alright. He's a tough girl. We're good.
He's a good boy. He's a good boy. All right, so you want to get down? All right. Well, you don't want to get down. Jeez. Ouch. Where were we? Well, we were getting nostalgic about VHS and stuff like that. But
Yeah, I'm asking, are they the same form? Like, what was Beta? What was it?
it was
'Cause I really don't know.
It was a video cassette,
smaller,
but
and it was
small,
higher
just a
quality.
smaller size.
Higher quality, but it was more expensive, so it didn't take off at the time. Different technology, slightly different technology.
You know, like 8-tracks came, and cassettes came out in the 70s, but 8-tracks didn't last very long, just 2 or 3
The
years.
8-tracks were supposedly better quality than cassettes, weren't they?
But they were a lot bigger than cassettes, yeah.
more
They-
expensive.
By 1980, they were gone pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what they were. My brother had a 1980 Camaro and had a 8-track player, and the only 8-track was Ted Nugent, Great Gonzo's, I think it was. He quickly got rid of that thing, got a cassette player. Oh man.
That reminds me of like, I went and saw the movie Days and Confused at like the end of 1993 when I had the theaters. You know, because it takes place like, I don't know if it's Texas or whatever, like 1976, somewhere around there, like the last day of school.
Days of Confused, that's the one with Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah.
all right.
Alright. Yeah, the high school
But
chicks.
there were so many people in that movie. That was their first movie,
Yeah.
and now 30 years later, so many people made it big. I mean, some people were in in movies for a while and shows, and they disappeared. They left the business, but there's a lot of people in there that was their first real.
Yeah.
It's got a kind of a cult following, really. It's
Yeah.
a great movie, you know.
There's a whole series of movies, and they go by decades of like this coming of age kind of thing, or just getting through or getting out of high school. Go all the way back to like George Lucas's one of his first movies of American Graffiti.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
like
that's
the
classic.
50s, I think, late
Early
50s.
70s, though, it came out, right?
It came out then, but it took place in the like late 50s, early 60s, and then there's like Days and Confused, which is 70s.
Yeah.
Well, it takes place in the 70s, right?
76,
So it
77.
was made in like the 90s.
Right, and then Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which
Right.
took place in the 80s,
Came out in 82.
and then, well, I guess it was early 80s. And then,
There's a movie that came out in 1978 called Breaking Away. It takes place in Bloomington, Indiana. That's another one. That's one of my all-time
I
favorites.
do got a good point to make about this, because I just watched a video of an interview with Matt Damon. And he says, he goes, like, people don't even get it. We love to make these good, high-quality movies. But once the streaming services took over, DVDs and VHSs were a big part of our income. And so they're like, we just don't have the money anymore to freaking really put these movies together and make them And yeah, Matt Damon.
Matt Damon, right there.
And holy
to Chad.
shit, my hair was long.
Cheers to Chad who couldn't make it.
I miss it. I miss my long hair. But yeah, so he says like they don't even care the quality of the movies. They just don't even care anymore. Like the Good Will Huntings and those like in depth like wow.
Quality
The
is in
directors were very precise.
the
and
story and the
very
writing
key.
or how the movie
Yes,
is made.
the whole thing, right? The story and the writing and producing it and everything, it was so much better. And it was, I see it today, you know what I mean? With all the movies that come out today, the last Thor movie, look how they portrayed Zeus. I mean, come on.
They portrayed Thor.
Yeah, but they've done
He's a bumbling idiot.
They've done Thor dirty in the past when they made him like fat and obnoxious and just stupid. And it was like, no, Thor's not fat and obnoxious and stupid. And like, you know, I don't know. I just am frustrated with the cinematic film industry now.
That's a whole other subject that we'll bring my buddy Rob in for.
Yeah, that'd be
Rob,
a
he'll come in, he'll show us comic books and stuff like that, and he's my go-to aficionado of comic books and history of comics, and the guy's had that guy spent as much time learning about money as he did comic books, he'd be a wealthy man right now. But no, he's very good, and Rob's one of my good buddies, and we'll get him in here. And I'd love to hit on I'd love to hit on the whole. We'll probably end up doing something like we'll do DC versus Marvel, and I'll probably take Marvel and we'll do DC.
Well, that's funny. I love Marvel more than DC, but I am really liking DC movies more than Marvel movies.
Marvel's
I
they've
think
lost their
it's
luster.
Disney
They're falling
to-
off their pace. That Disney's kind of put a message in there that nobody likes. They've more so than anything, they've strayed from the source material.
Yeah.
And once you do that, you lose your audience, and
Yeah.
that's what made those Marvel
But even
movies
if-
amazing for the first 10 years or so.
We're trying to bring all that old culture shit in a fucking movie.
That's what they do. They politicize every
Which-
fucking thing, and it's disruptive.
Which
So they
dates the movie to
Fucking-
right now and makes it forgettable in the future.
Yeah.
Because it's already an ideology that's falling away, and
Yeah,
it's
like
losing
none of the
ground.
Marvel movies I'm really interested. Like they got Guardians of the Galaxy 3 just put out a promotion, right? And it's like Guardians of the Galaxy was my favorite of the Marvel movies, for just me, you know what I mean? And so I like want to see it, but I don't even care anymore. You know, like I do want to see it, but am I gonna go see the movies? Probably not. Am I itching for it? No, not really. Marvel has taken that away from me. And you know, I didn't really like DC movies, and when the new Batman with Robert Pattinson came out, I don't even know what that's his name, but
The sparkly vampire from Twilight.
yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna go see that, but you gotta fucking get ass vampire in there or whatever. And then I watched it at home, and I was like, holy shit, this is good. I was like, man, they had some really gritty moments in there. It was good. I was really impressed with it. So I'm really tuned into more DC movies than Marvel movies now, cinematic wise.
So, well, we'll get into that I'm just gonna go for that.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm gonna go there for a minute. DC cinematic universe is already done with Batman. What they have done with the comic books throughout the years. We've reinvented Batman 15 times
Yeah, I know.
in the decade.
I know, right?
Why? Because, in my opinion, Batman's a shitty character.
Yeah, for sure. He's got no
I've got no superpowers. I'm rich, and I can do all these things. Bullshit, dude. If
Well,
we could really do all that, we'd have real Batmans out there.
Yeah. And the thing is with that is who makes the fucking Batmobile? Because it wasn't you.
No.
You know what I mean? It wasn't Batman that made all his gadgets. It wasn't. So you have an entire team, and then your identity's still gonna be secret. You gotta have to hire people. No, dude, no.
Right. Well, I
It
mean,
didn't gonna work out
that
like
also
that.
goes in
When
with.
you break everything down to a molecular scale,
It's the mystery.
it
Who
can
made
never
the
work
car?
like
That's
that.
right.
Well, I mean,
You
If you
know?
think about it,
the
though,
misunderstood of genius in
Who
Hollywood.
built the jet turbines in the Batmobile to fucking fire off? Because it wasn't Bruce Wayne.
Well, I mean, that's the misunderstanding of what genius is in Hollywood. And Hollywood thinks a genius is someone who can just You can drop this person off into the woods and with nothing, and he'll fly an airplane out in a few weeks, like, because he understands all these concepts. No.
Yeah.
You might understand all these concepts, but there's teams of people that work for you, right?
Yes.
And
You know?
in all honesty, I know because I'm one of those guys. I'm one of those hands-on guys that does things for the really smart people. So I will do all the hands-on stuff and get that going. But you need meet guys like me to
Yeah.
get that stuff done.
You have to.
Teams of people like me
You have
to
to have
really get
teams.
things to get
To have an
great things.
operation
Right,
like
so-
Bruce Wayne has, I mean, you have to employ well over 100
So,
people. Well,
To touch on the Marvel versus DC subject for a little bit, two most similar characters like Batman versus Iron Man, right? Iron Man, you saw it. He's putting things into Jarvis, Jarvis is running CNC machines and doing all kinds of things and running out his ideas and creating the parts, and eventually he has to put it all together. And that was the early days of Iron Man, where you see him actually assembling a suit physically. He's physically doing it, but he can build a design, have Jarvis basically grab the materials, put it in the CNC machine, and start cutting the stuff out, and then he's got a part. That can happen. Batman, no explanation.
Yeah.
The car just shows up. Oh, great!
yeah, but even
Because
that,
he's a genius.
Jarvis cannot build a fucking 6,000 horsepower turbine engine that is this big.
No, but you can order it.
You know what I mean? It's not that, no machine can do
No,
that. It takes hundreds of people to develop. It takes,
People like Mythbusters have done things about like Batman's his grappling systems, like what can pull him up a building. And it's like he's got this little tiny little device, and and you can go up and pull him up.
It's somehow perfectly,
Not
it
just
goes
him.
around a pole,
Yeah, it
and
goes
then like
around
hooks
the
itself
side.
every single time, it
But
perfectly
you guys
hooks.
read the article, and it came out this year. It had to do with with Star Wars. What if there was an actual Death Star? A circular space station built like a planet. What would be the annual cost of running it? Payroll?
How many bathrooms it must have?
Electrical,
the plumbing
all
system.
the stuff involved.
Yeah.
And it talked about there's like
It would be so massive it would have its own gravity. I mean,
but
Like
it'd be trillions of dollars a year to run.
Oh, I read a report on what it would take to actually build a Death Star, and it was
Yeah.
something like $600 trillion.
It was insane. Yeah.
next pub wisdom. We come up with plans to build our own Death Star.
Yes.
Tune in for that.
My all-time biggest dream. I want to build my own
No,
Death Star.
that's good though. I mean, I love sci-fi that has good plausibility, and because I have a technical mind, I gotta have this plausibility. I gotta have something it's gotta have some glimmer of truth to it, and then you can kind of suspend some disbelief around that. But it's gotta have something that I can grapple onto. And I knew with like certain movies, like when Marvel came out, Iron Man, good. Captain America, okay, pretty good too. And then when you started getting around to like Thor, I was like, that's gonna be a hard one to sell.
Yeah, starts off with blonde hair, cuts his hair off, and now it's brown. That's fucking weird to me. That's fucking weird to me that Thor
He
had
went from building a Death Star to Thor in like a matter of 30 seconds. His hair color.
fucking weird. Dude.
Only
It's
on
like they don't
Only
care.
on Pub Wisdom.
They just
That we
don't
change directions that quickly.
It's crazy the cinematic
Alcohol
universe
has nothing to do with
doesn't
that.
No.
have the knowledge. A good friend of mine I sit down with, he's a really intelligent dude that I live with. And, we watch movies, and he gets upset with me because I critique everything so bad. One of them was this guy randomly, some random dude, no military knowledge at all, runs, picks up this fucking missile launcher, pulls it up, and fires it. No, it's not an RPG like an 8-year-old kid could fire, where it's just a rocket-propelled grenade and you just plug something in and pull the trigger. A missile launcher is so in depth. There's no way you can just pick one up. Not one of us could pick up a missile launcher and figure out how to fucking use it.
Yeah, I
Well, you watch
There's no way.
watch like a fight scene.
So it's like stupid.
like realistic, like a fight scene where guys are, they're beating the living crap out of each other for 5 minutes. Yet there's no blood.
Yeah.
Think about that. You get hit and cracked in the face a couple times, it's gonna swell up.
Yeah,
It's gonna hurt. You're probably gonna get a gash.
yeah, last dude I hit up at the bar. I hit him like 6 times. He was bleeding out both eyes. Like six
Again,
punches.
Johnny Bat and the violence. I don't know why it follows him around. It just does. And then blood. I don't know.
I don't know.
But you know what? We're gonna wrap things up here because we're bouncing around all on the map, and these are subjects we kind of want to get into at a later date.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of hit our allotted time, and I think we had a good talk. Thanks to my regulars here, and we'll call it a night. And thank you guys for watching. So yeah. Like,
We'll see you
subscribe.
next
No,
time.
I'm not gonna say that shit because that's bullshit, and everyone panders to that. And
We'll see you next
who knows
time.
if we're even? Yeah, we'll see you guys.
But you
next
guys
time.
enjoy yourself some beers as well.
Right.
So we'll see you next time on.
I need to fill up. So
I'll join you guys.
there you go. All right, we're all done. Empty glasses,
We don't cheers empty beers.
but we're over. We're closing out. We're closing out.
I have a little dribble in there. So.
Good night, guys. Thank you very much. Backwards.
Honestly, I think it was.
Bring us pints of beer. Don't drink, you can live. Bring us pints of beer. We gonna drink now and here.